Every level of wealth explained. Which level are you? It starts with the sound of a plastic card snapping against a terminal. Decline. You feel the heat crawl up your neck as the cashier, a teenager who clearly smells your desperation, stares at you with the pity of 1,000 suns. You do the account shuffle, frantically swiping through a banking app that's mostly red numbers and insufficient funds notifications, praying that a stray $5 from a Venmo request 3 months ago finally cleared. Level 1. The Sleep for Dinner Specialist. You live in the United States of anxiety. You are currently weighing the nutritional benefits of generic brand ramen versus just drinking a large glass of water and going to bed at 7 p.m. to save calories. Your car makes a sound like a haunted blender, but you've learned to just turn the radio up until the screaming stops. The rule here is simple. Survival is a math problem. Oops, you're failing. You know exactly how many days are left until Friday, and you've become a world-class athlete in the sport of stretching a 20. You aren't a person right now. You're a walking, breathing stress headache with a Netflix password you stole from an ex. You look at people buying name-brand cereal and wonder what it's like to be part of the 1%. To you, the 1% is anyone who doesn't check their balance before buying a gallon of gas. Level 2. The middle-class mirage. You've made it. You earn $65,000 a year, which feels like a king's ransom until you realize the government takes a third, your landlord takes half, and your student loans take the rest. You are comfortably broke. You no longer eat sleep for dinner, but you do spend 20 minutes comparing the price per ounce of organic kale because you've convinced yourself that wellness is your new personality. The psychological shift is subtle. You start using words like investment when you buy a slightly nicer vacuum cleaner. You have a LinkedIn profile that makes you sound like a Roman general, but your actual job involves synergizing PowerPoints for a boss who forgets your name every Tuesday. The rule here is status is a subscription service. You have the lease on the entry-level German car that costs $600 a month. You have the $1,200 iPhone that you're paying off in 36 easy installments. You're terrified of a $1,000 emergency because despite the nice shoes, your net worth is basically the price of a used Honda Civic. You're running a race on a treadmill that someone else is speeding up. You start looking at the operator types, the people with their own businesses, and you think, I could do that. I just need a vision and a lot less sleep. Level 3. The grind set operator. You've quit the 9-to-5 to work 24/7. You're clearing $250,000 a year running a boutique agency or a niche construction firm, and you've officially become the most annoying person at Thanksgiving. You wear vests, Patagonias mostly. You talk about scalability and bandwidth while your blood is 70% espresso. The rule here is time is a liability. You've realized that if you aren't working, you aren't earning. You charge $300 an hour, which means every time you play with your kids, you're mentally subtracting $150 from your bank account. You've moved into a good zip code where the lawns are manicured and the silence is deafening. You've started to view people as assets. You hire a virtual assistant in a different time zone to handle your emails because you're too busy for administrative noise. The corruption begins with the realization that you can pay people to go away. You pay for the fast pass at Disney World because standing in line with the level 1s feels like a personal insult to your hourly rate. You're successful, but you're a slave to your own calendar. You have the money to buy a boat, but you're too busy working to ever put it in the water.
Level 4. The Liquid Capitalist. You've hit the $5 million mark. You don't work in the traditional sense. You allocate. Your morning involves checking the pre-market tickers and wondering if the Fed is going to ruin your afternoon. You've moved past the need to impress your neighbors. In fact, you've started to realize that the truly wealthy look like they're on their way to a car wash. Hoodies, flip-flops, and a total lack of logos. The rule at level 4 is, privacy is the ultimate luxury. You've stopped posting on Instagram because you don't want people to know where you are or what you own. You realize that looking rich is for the level 2s who are drowning in debt. You want to be a ghost. Psychologically, you are becoming numb. You see a news report about a recession, and your first thought isn't about the people losing their homes, it's about which real estate investment trusts, REITs, are going to be on sale. You've rationalized your lack of empathy as macro perspective. You aren't being mean, you're being analytical. You've started to feel like the world is a game of SimCity, and you're the only one who found the cheat code for infinite cash. Level 5. The Institutionalist. You are worth $50 million. You have entered the world of old money vibes, even if you made it last year in crypto or private equity. You don't have a bank account, you have a family office with 3 guys named Graham who manage your soul. The rule here is access over assets. You don't care about owning a jet, you care about the tail number being blocked from public tracking software. You don't buy a house, you buy the lot next to it so no one can look at you. You spend $100,000 a year on security consultations because you've convinced yourself that everyone is out to get you. The moral escalation is complete. You start donating to foundations that conveniently support the deregulation of your own industry. You tell yourself it's for the greater good, but deep down you know it's just to keep the moat around your castle wide. You've lost the ability to relate to a human being who has to check their mail for bills. To you, a bill is something your assistants handle. You live in a bubble of yes. No one tells you that your jokes aren't funny or that your tie looks ridiculous. You are the sun, and everyone else is just a planet hoping for a little warmth. Level 6. The Architect of Influence. You've crossed $500 million. You are no longer an individual, you are a special interest group. You don't vote, you decide who gets to run. You spend your weekends at Davos or on a super yacht in the Mediterranean, discussing the future of humanity with people who haven't pumped their own gas since the 90s. The rule is, history is written by the highest bidder. You realize that laws are just suggestions for people who can't afford the legal fees to ignore them. You settle lawsuits for $10 million like you're paying a parking ticket. It's just the cost of doing business. Your identity has eroded into a series of press releases. You have a PR team that spends 40 hours a week making sure you look like a philanthropist instead of a predator. You've become obsessed with your legacy. You want your name on the wing of a hospital or the side of a library because you're terrified that once the money is gone, you'll be forgotten. You are surrounded by friends who are actually just employees with better titles. You haven't had a sincere conversation in 5 years.
Level 7. The Sovereign. You are a billionaire. The word itself feels heavy. You are one of a few thousand people who truly run the planet. You have reached a level of wealth that is mathematically impossible to spend. You could lose $100 million in a bad bet, and your lifestyle wouldn't change by a single degree. The rule here is, reality is whatever you say it is. You exist in a state of total detachment. You don't know what a gallon of milk costs. You don't know what minimum wage is. You live in a series of climate-controlled compounds, flying between them in a $75 million Gulf Stream that has a shower and a bedroom. You've become a sovereign. You treat countries like service providers. If a nation raises taxes, you move your headquarters. If a politician crosses you, you fund their opponent's entire career. You feel like a god, but you're a god in a cage. You can't walk down a street. You can't sit in a park. You are the most powerful prisoner in the world, guarded by men with earpieces who would die for you, but only because you pay their mortgages. Level 8. The Ghost in the Machine. You are worth $100 billion. You have reached the final level. Money has ceased to exist. Power has ceased to be a goal. You are now the architect of reality. You own the satellite networks that provide the internet. You own the data that predicts what people will think before they think it. You are the algorithm made flesh. The final rule is, the only thing left to buy is time. You are obsessed with longevity. You spend millions on blood treatments, biohacking, and experimental surgeries because you realized that for all your power, you are still a biological machine that will eventually break. You sit in a room with a view of the Earth from space, or perhaps a mountaintop retreat where the air is filtered to perfection. You are completely alone. You have outgrown humanity. You look at the world below not with anger or joy, but with the clinical boredom of a child watching an ant farm. You see the cycles of poverty and wealth, and you realize they are necessary for the engine to keep turning. You look at a high-definition monitor. It's a feed from a city street 3,000 miles away. A young man is standing outside a grocery store. He's looking at his phone, his face pale in the blue light. He's just tried to buy a sandwich, and the card didn't work. He's apologizing to a cashier who doesn't care. Somewhere, a beginner is just starting. He thinks he's just had a bad day. He thinks if he just gets that promotion, he'll be happy. He thinks he can beat the system. He can't. But he's about to spend the next 40 years trying.